Tony D and Little Joan, and this is well, it's a hot take. I wanted to show you some of the pictures from some recent events, and just sort of tap into that. Some of you asked what it's like to do with these events, so I thought I'd talk about that a little bit. Smash a like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey, Joan. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 15, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Thanks to all who came out to the Shipman Mansion in Edgewater Park, New Jersey. It was a great event, and I'm going to show you some pictures. But first, this was the picture from the, when was this? This was Tuesday, I think? Yeah, no, Monday. This was the Women's Club at Mirage in Barnegat, New Jersey, and they've got a nice auditorium. So you can see they had me put the Pineys backdrop up on the stage, and then they hit it with a spotlight, so they got a little production value there. So it was a little nice. Then this is the Shipman Manor. They had a cannon there. That was kind of cool. It is now also the home of the Red Dragon Canoe Club. It's like one of the oldest canoe clubs in the country. And so they're based out of Shipman Manor. You can see their logo kind of looks like the Jersey Devil. They had snacks. So a lot of times at the historical type sites, they will have snacks. And they were raising money for the mansion. So we had some cookies there. Somebody brought brownies, and it was a good time. I always enjoy that. One time they made me a cake. One of the historical societies made a whole cake with a Jersey Devil on it. And that was kind of cool. There's me. That's the picture I posted to what's the name? X. And you can see in the background the room that I was in. And then here's the room. And you can see all the people there. So it was a pretty good crowd tonight. I took a quick. This is me right before I went on stage, and I think that's it. Oh, and then some of my books from I think it's from a previous event. So, yeah. So the Shipman Manor or Shipman Mansion was pretty nice. I don't know which one to stay. I think I'll stay on the food. It was pretty nice, and it housed some interesting history. It was built in the 1800s, so it's not Revolutionary War connected. However, there was some artifacts locally connected to the Revolutionary War. And then they talked about one of the guys who owned the mansion. He was instrumental in keeping Kentucky neutral during the Civil War. It wasn't for him, it was about keeping the Union together, and he felt that was the best way to stay out of it, to have some states that were neutral. I didn't realize Kentucky was neutral during the Civil War, so that was kind of interesting. But typically at the historical societies or some of the museums, I will go, and it'll often be a fundraiser kind of situation for the facility, and that's why they'll have the snacks, and a lot of the membership will come out. There'll often be members of the historical society or the museum or whatever, be friends of the museum, something like that. And there of course, everybody in the audience is very interested in history. It tends to be an older crowd, and they're very nice. It's so nice with the older folks. They're always very polite and very kind with their praise afterwards. They were excited to see me. They enjoyed the talk, and they bought some books at the end, of course, and that's always very nice, Joan, right? When I sell some books so I could buy you food. So it's nice to be connected with history locally, and I found so many places that are being preserved locally, and it's a shame because you should really try to be more involved in your local historical society because they really need your help. They need your money. It's often very expensive to fix a historical site and to get people to go there and keep the damn place open just so, people will. I mean, the whole reason to keep a historical building intact is so people can come to see it once in a while. But a lot of times they don't know it's there, or if they do, they don't care. Um, but there's often little facets of history, your own history, that are pretty cool. And I know a lot of younger people, they're not into history, but a few of them are. And I would urge you to get involved in your local historical societies to preserve your local history. Now, it depends on where you live. Here on the East Coast of the United States, we have a ton of history in New Jersey, I know, because we're one of the older states. Now, maybe you live in a state that isn't quite as old. Maybe your history doesn't go back that far, but, even if you live in a place like Alaska, which was, boy, that was one of the last states to be added. I think it's one of like 48th, something like that, maybe a little sooner. Um, there's still plenty of history there. I mean, you've got a lot of the tribes that are part of the history as well. It does not just American history, but anything that took place, within your state, even before it was a state. A lot of the history I talk about took place before the Revolutionary War. And there's all sorts of societies. They often have fundraisers and events. And if you're part of one of those societies already, I would urge you to try to apply some of the promotional things that, I, stuff that I've learned over the years, but just stuff that is good to use for promote. Now, of course, there's social media, obviously, and a lot of people do that, but you have to make regular posts. I mean, one of the things I would recommend, depending on your situation, would be to get involved with some of the local podcasts, and when you do have an event or a fundraiser, to make sure they mention you. That to me is one of the most direct ways now. But there's all sorts of ways. There's Instagram and things like Facebook. A lot of places have a Facebook page, but Facebook, in my view, is kind of dying. I think you need an Instagram page if you want to capture more of a younger audience. And, it never hurts to call the TV stations and the media outlets because, they are sometimes willing to do a story. They were more willing to do it back in the 90s and the 2000s than they are now. But even now, they are willing to do something. And if not, then, there are organizations on the internet that are sometimes interested in what you do. Don't sell it short, Get out there, promote. Don't do flyers. Flyers are almost useless, but you want to tie into websites with a lot of local traffic. There's a site called Nextdoor, and that Nextdoor is all about local stuff. That's its whole deal. It's local, local, local. And there's some websites that are like that. And you want to tie yourself into websites that are active, that people actually visit, and that's really hard to do. Like I said, Facebook to me is not what it used to be. But and you want to tie into places that are nearby physically, because local people often don't even know you're there, and it's good that the local people know you're there, because hopefully they can tell other people. But if you don't have the local people, they're the easiest ones to get, So if you do flyers, it should be posted around. Those flyers should be left in local places right nearby, because that way, hopefully, somebody picks up a flyer, looks at it, and says, "Oh, this place is right nearby. I got an hour to kill. Let's go over there and check it out." You never know. Also, you got to have a website. Got to have a website. If you're going to use your Facebook for the website. I guess you can, but I think you need a regular website with an address that's fairly easy to know. And especially on the website, don't make it too timely. Don't put stuff on the website like, for each day. I used to do that. Try to make the website, you know, less work, that you don't have to update it every day. Or if you're gonna, make it very timely, make sure you update it. Make sure you know how to update your website. Don't depend on a website guy to do that, unless he's very involved in the historical society or whatever. And even if you get a guy like that who's very good with it, make sure if he ever leaves the historical society, he teaches you enough so you could do it. That was always the problem with a lot of websites. You'd go to the sites and they wouldn't be updated. So the internet is where it's at in terms of promotion. There's also a lot of local places that will post events. Facebook is one of them, but there are other websites that do that. You want to tie into them as much as you can. Libraries are probably a good choice for the historical societies, because there's a lot of overlap between the libraries and the historical societies. A few of them have been the same building. And then things like, the women's club, some of the senior places, they're always looking for stuff to do. Places that are local, that are looking for stuff to do. You got an organization, let them come into your, market to them a little bit, and they'll come into your place. They'll come see your manor house or whatever it is you're saving. And they might even donate and join the club. Retirees, they're looking for stuff to do, and it's a nice legacy to have, to help out with a historical building. It's also, I didn't care about it too much before when I was younger, but it was very gratifying to me that I live not too far from a historical house, and the locals there really fixed it up. They went so far as to fix the sidewalk, which was made up of, instead of like a regular sidewalk, it's like brick. And the bricks were kind of coming they were all uneven, they were coming out. I mean, it's a bit of a cobblestone sort of layout, but, they went in one day and just fixed the whole thing. It was and now it's really nice. And, they keep the landscaping nice. And back in the 70s, the same historical house, it was a wreck. People broke into it. The windows were smashed out. It was full of trash and beer cans. And now it was restored back in the 70s and 80s. But it's been, a regular fixture of the community nearby ever since. And it's very gratifying. You feel, a connection to the past that way. So anyhow, that was my event at the Shipman Manor, Joan. Next up tomorrow, Cassiano's Coffee Bar and Sweetery in Hamilton, New Jersey. Now I'll be there from 4 to 7, but you should come out, because first off, Cassiano's has great food and coffee and stuff, really good. So depending on what time you come, if you come after dinner, it's a great place to go get some coffee and a little, sweet roll or something. If you want to come they have dinner food. I mean, it's not like, it's more like sandwiches and stuff, but it's high end. It's high end. And even if you don't go to Cassiano's for a meal, there's plenty of restaurants around. Plus, a lot of the ghost tours are going on in Hamilton. But definitely stop by Cassiano's, because I'll be there, and it's a great place to get a nice coffee after you've eaten in one of the restaurants in town. Just chill out, watch the people go by, and maybe if you get a ticket to one of the ghost tours, get there a little early, hang out, get yourself a nice coffee, chill until it's time for your tour. You really can't beat it. So I hope to see you tomorrow at Cassiano's. That's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you Oh, can I get back? Can I get back? There it is. We'll see you tomorrow.